Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe gets plenty of screen time, but you kind of forget his dad is ridiculously strong too. He just doesn't have as much screen time. Let's just say there's a reason why Thor is proud to be the son of Odin. Because Odin's a monster. Let's get into it. Without wasting any time, Odin's an Asgardian, so just off rip, he's at the very least has to be at least 5,000 years old because he imprisoned Hela 5,000 years ago.
Sasha, I thought my father killed you like 500,000 years ago.
Did Thor just imply that Odin is 500,000 years old or something? Just for simply being an Asgardian, Marvel.com makes it clear when it comes to Asgardian physiology, this particular scan is talking about Valkyrie, but this should apply for Odin, about the typical Asgardian physiological traits, superhuman strength, stamina, speed, durability, reflexes, and Odin of the MCU, he's literally the king of Asgard, so you can almost get an idea of his strength just from the other Asgardians we've seen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We can kind of assume Odin does better by default. The movies don't mention this kind of power much, but Odin gets like this energy bonus known as the Odinforce they barely ever mention in the MCU. Like just from this place Asgard existing in general, Odin's power is generally buffed. The Marvel website explains that this Odinforce allows Odin to manipulate magical energy such as stripping Thor of his godly powers, enchanting mythical artifacts like the Mjolnir itself. Like right here, this Marvel What If animated series, take it with a grain of salt, but in What If, you know how Odin in the main continuity has multiple kids, you know, Thor being one of them and Hela being his other kid that he used to rule with back in the day. In a What If series, it's implied that just the same way he depowered Thor, he could do the same to Hela somehow? Like what?
I now take from you your power! I cast you out! Whosoever wears this crown, should she know mercy, shall possess the power of Hela.
But that is an alternate reality version of Odin and Hela. Similar concept, but alternate reality. So what do you think? Do you think that should be taken seriously as a possibility of what the main continuity could do? I think it's possible, but yeah, what do you think? Odin apparently placed several enchantments on Mjolnir, Thor's weapon. Odin's one of the few beings that can actually wield Mjolnir. I mean, think about it. We've seen him literally shed a tear when Thor got worthy. Reading minds across dimensions and transporting individuals without the Bifrost. He has super senses because of all these attributes, because of his Odin energy. But it also has his drawbacks, like, you know, he has to go in Odin's sleep to recharge his power. Like, he's got a lot of power channeling through him and such, being on his Asgard. The comics in the MCU tell about other energies he can use as like a last resort that has a price, of course. Dark magic and all that stuff. But yeah, he has his own gear too, just like how Thor uses Mjolnir. He uses this weapon known as Gungnir that he can project his magical power through and shoot energy blasts and such. Information about Gungnir here. I guess technically Odin can summon weapons like the Destroyer to fight his battles for him too. As far as we know, this device right here in Asgard that allows you to summon something that helps you travel across the universe, there's implications Odin can travel without necessarily using this. Like in this occasion, it appears that he forced the Bifrost to pull everybody up here. I mean, let's be real. He's got every major ability you can think of thanks to his vast energy manipulation. Literally, he's the guy that made Thor depowered. Disintegrates Thor's armor. Marvel.com says Odin is such a vast energy manipulator, he can use his own life force energy itself to seal beings away. Odin has sealed dimensional rifts. He's the reason Loki doesn't have blue skin anymore. According to the Marvel Visual Dictionary about the MCU, Odin has these ravens that send him information. You know that thing magicians do when they go in spirit mode? I guess you can say Odin can do this too, because somehow, even though he apparently died, he was still able to talk to Thor to give him advice. Like, how did he do this? Like, it's probably astral projection or something. But let's dissect him even further. Since we know Odin is a top tier Asgardian, about how much he can lift, the same stuff that Thor can do, Odin should be able to do this too. I'm not really getting into a debate who you think is stronger. Let's just say they're similar, right? Odin and Thor, right? So whatever Thor can do, Odin can do, right? Even Thor agrees when it comes to them being similar in strength.
I'm not as strong as you.
Sure, that was a motivational speech, but yeah, they're similar physiology. So yeah, I definitely think they're somewhere in the same ballpark. So just like how Thor can move these mountainous-sized rings with his raw muscle, I'm 100% sure Odin can do this too. Just like how Thor can technically move mountains based on that feat, Odin should be able to support the weight of a mountain or mountains on his back similar to Thor. I mean, he was the king of Asgard. That's power. You know, Marvel has the What If series. These two are not the same guy or nothing, but some of these what ifs, you could kind of get some perspective on how strong Marvel Cinematic Universe Odin could have possibly been. But yeah, don't take these as Bible. This is a what if. Similar to how Hela, who in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is a daughter of Odin. So Odin should be able to do this in the main continuity. But in the main continuity, yeah, Hela literally broke Mjolnir with her grip and just raw power output. Yeah, this is how she did Mjolnir. Yeah, I know this is a what if feat, but yeah, I do think they're implying something. It's like if the roles were reversed and Odin just decided to destroy Mjolnir, he could. Odin is technically the one that defeated her, so why wouldn't he be able to do it in the main continuity? You see why I kind of think the what if should be taken seriously?
I'm prisoner.
locks her away.
I definitely believe that what if was kind of accurate to the main continuity. What do you think? Odin hits and blasts like a freight train, literally. He's one of the beings that's way stronger than his size would suggest, stabbing and overpower beings way larger than himself. A lot of Odin's feats happen off screen, but you can kind of get an idea of how strong he is by his weapons vault or treasure vault, all the adventures basically. Like it's confirmed long time ago, he took on Surtur at his full power. We're talking about a being like Surtur, a fire demon that's so powerful he took multiple hits from the Hulk and just kind of tossed him aside. But yeah, Hulk did kind of move his face, but yeah, that's crazy. Even Thor reiterated the fact that Odin and Surtur has fought in the past.
Surtur, I thought my father killed you.
When my crown is reunited with the eternal flame, I shall be restored to my full might. I will tower over the mountains. A mountain!
The eternal flame that Odin keeps locked away on Asgard.
So it's little stuff like this that can give you glimpses of what Odin had to face back in the day. They might have exaggerated about him being as big as a mountain. He's big, but maybe not as big as a mountain. But yeah, his size doesn't matter. We've seen with his sword strike, he can blow away this island floating Asgard body with the weight of his sword swing. Yeah. And you're telling me Odin faced off against this kind of power back in the day? Yeah. Too bad it was off screen. It would have been nice to watch this and see the context of how it went down, but I think we could safely say Odin can hit hard enough, can devastate mountains or destroy them. The thing Surtur did reminds me of what Odin's son did in Avengers Age of Ultron, you know, with Sokovia, floating city. Thor hit with so much weight that he blew up this entire city. This is kind of what Surtur did, but Surtur, Asgard is bigger than Sokovia, so just think of it like that. So what I'm saying, if Odin wanted to, if he was on Earth, he could have been like, oh, I don't want Sokovia no more, let me blow this place away as well, if he just so wished with his blast power or just strikes or something. Even though we visually haven't seen Odin do it, I mean, let's be honest, we've seen Thor do this kind of stuff. It should be logical to assume Odin can do that. Similar physiology, Thor's literally his son. Not to mention, we've seen Thor literally hit this hard to, yeah, this looks cool, but you're probably thinking, oh, this ain't that impressive. Oh, well, when we looking into the visual dictionary of Marvel handbooks and such, they give more detail that the ice planet shook when Thor did this. It was more than just blasting all that ice. We don't know the exact size of this ice planet, but I say if Odin's son can do something like this, shake the entire planetoid itself, based on the MCU handbooks and lore, I don't see no reason why Odin, this guy's father, with his blast or Odinforce and everything put together, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to hit this hard to shake an entire ice planet too. I don't see any difference. This kind of stuff implies they're way above city-shattering levels of power, Odin included. Matter of fact, in the Thor Jr. novel book, Odin's adventures and feats are talked about a little bit more, about how Odin has destroyed demons and monsters, devastated whole worlds, laid waste to mighty kingdoms. So planet shaking makes sense. It also confirms that Odin himself is the most powerful Norse god, which would imply like that everything Thor could do, he should be able to do too when it comes to how hard he can hit. And they literally say the term earth-shattering force. And based on all the stuff that we've seen in the MCU, these gods getting kind of crazier as each movie goes on, I don't think this is an exaggeration. He's like the Norse equivalent to the Skyfather Zeus himself in Omnipotent City, even though we never seen Zeus and Odin interact. He's basically the equivalent of that, but you know, Zeus is Greek. It's true we can't prove this ice planet is as big as a planet like Earth, but when the people say he has earth-shattering power, it doesn't matter anymore. It's pretty much proven he can earth shatter based on stuff like that. He's a god. Doesn't nothing really contradict it, even though we ain't seen it. I guess it's safe to say that MCU Odin is a earth-shattering or planet-buster type being. Now that we established he can hit with earth-shattering force, there's certain feats that I saw when I first watched the movies that I kind of overlooked. But after learning all this new stuff about how he's a vast energy manipulator with the Odinforce, I kind of need to dissect this a little bit harder. It was Frigga's funeral, where she was turning into ashes. This right here kind of implied he might have turned her into actual stars. Because you see it go into the sky, and notice how the sky changed. Like, this is how the sky looked before, and this is how it looked afterwards. You're probably thinking I'm overthinking. I would have thought I was overthinking if we haven't had other feats of Odin creating stars in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It stated here that the All-Father Odin had the cup dispersed into the stars, like a constellation of stars. He's just casually creating stars without being drained of energy afterwards. Like, this stuff is casual. This would imply he can generate way more energy needed to destroy a planet like Earth. If you can create multiple stars with ease, you can destroy dozens of Earths with the amount of energy you have with your creation or whatever. If it's true, Odin can use that same energy he creates stuff with as in a form of attack. He would literally be able to hit you with the force equivalent to multiple stars with his blast. He technically shouldn't have no problem destroying thousands of Earths at the same time with the amount of energy projection if he can really produce that kind of energy to create the stars casually without even having to go into Odin sleep afterwards. He's not even getting drained afterwards. The same energy he can produce with the Odinforce to create a star. What's stopping him from putting all that star developing energy into his staff and just blasting you with that same concussive force, or the force of a star's creation type force? You see what I mean? Like, that's why it's impressive creating stars. This weapon just helps him to focus his power. It's not his source of strength. We've seen him blast with this. It's funny how some of the mightiest beings don't have no screen time in the MCU. Ain't that funny how that works? Just examples of other guys like Khonshu being able to literally move the moon and make it dark. Same concept here on how we literally see him move the moon itself, planetoids. Like, sure, this particular situation isn't Odin, but the fact that Odin can create stars, and then you see other characters that are gods rotating the literal sky of stars. It starts to make sense with Odin being able to create his own stars. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, if we're being honest, what's stopping Odin from making 2 stars randomly and just have the stars fall on you literally or something? But anyway, Odin believes you should hit that like button. And thanks for the donos, everybody. It helps out a lot. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.